Kalinoski, and I got a shot on it. To a new unit was just starting up. Chemical warfare. We were a support unit for infantry. We had 4.2 mortars, and we took our basic training down in Alabama, Camp Rucker. And from then, I have an army picture of the whole group. I wasn't there when it was taken, but I was shipped up to Tennessee for umpiring for the maneuvers. I was on the umpire. I was up there 2 weeks, and then the unit was put up, and we were given leave to go home. We got back, we were locked in tight. We couldn't get out of camp, couldn't call, couldn't do nothing. We shipped up to New York, to Camp Shanks, and then from the Camp Shanks we were taken to the New York Harbor and put on the Queen Elizabeth, which was, you know, a big, beautiful ship. And we crossed the Channel in 7 days. Got to England. I think it was Easter Sunday, I'm not sure. And we took some more basics there. We went on maneuvers. Come back from maneuvers here. The Jeeps got bogging down in the sand. So they got these, what they call mud hens. They're Caterpillar personnel carriers. And we were given them. And we took some more training with them painted. They were all painted white. They said they were going to Russia. Then they turned around and put us on isolation again and took us to the harbor. We were in Torquay, England. And they put us on the ships. They took us out in little boats and put us on the trade ship. We had to climb the ropes with everything on your back. Got in the ship, and that night, first time we saw anything, an airplane come over. And he started trying to hit the ships in the harbor there, but he did bomb a couple of buildings. And that is a weird feeling the first time you go through when you're being, bombed. Ooh, you hear the plane come, the shells coming down and then exploding. And then finally that night or next morning we shipped out. They took us out. They took us across the Channel, and all night was in the troop ship. And then, oh God, it must have been 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. They had us climb down the rope ladders and go into landing crafts, personnel landing crafts. And we had our mortars with us, and we hit the beach. They said we were in the 3rd wave in. That was June 6th, E-Day, 1944. And they said we were the first artillery personnel on the beach to fire. We fired 5 or 6 rounds from that position, and then we were told to move out. We had to go. We were supporting the 4th Division, 22nd Regiment on Utah Beach, and we were to head west up the beach. And we went up the beach, and all of a sudden I saw this pillbox, and there were German soldiers laying there. They didn't have no shirts on. They had gray pants. First time I saw the uniforms were gray, and they were killed earlier. And we went up, and then all of a sudden you try to move up the beach. It is sand, walking with your packing on. Our mud hens were way ahead because they were carrying the guns and the ammunition. And then there must have been an 88 up there, so I hid somewhere in a pillbox, and he started trying to hit us on the beach, and shooting. They were going out in the water, splashing, shell. So he couldn't get us, and he started going for the landing craft coming in. I saw 3 of them hit right there with this gunfire. Moved up the beach and got up there in quite a while. I don't know how far we had to go. You lose sense of time and everything else, and you're scared. And this big truck sitting there, stuck in the sand, half in the water, half out. And we come up on it. By the time I got up there, they were unloading our mud hens, they call them. And they were taking these soldiers and putting them in our mud heads. There was 11 82nd Airborne men, all was wounded. He said there was a major laying there in the middle of the truck, had 22 machine gun bullets in his chest. They were all bandaged up. The guy driving, he had his throat shot away. He's all bandaged his throat. We put him in a mud end and we run him back. So then we got to this position, we set up our guns, we fired some, and this buddy of mine, he lives up in Erie. Him and I were, right from the beginning, we hit it off. We met in basic training, and he came from Emporium at the time. I came from Philly. And he was a runner. That means, like, he had to go out. He had to go up on the line, they go to our forward observers, find a lieutenant, give him dry shirt, dry clothes, and new batteries for the radios. And he took off in the morning, and by the time he came back, it was about 6:30 in the evening. I dug a foxhole, and I'm sitting on the edge of the foxhole. And I look up, and there he is. I said, "What's the matter, Keith?" He says, "It's rough." He says, "I got pinned down 3 times up there under small arms fire." And I said, "Have you had anything to eat?" He said, "No." So I just made a cup of soup, bouillon, like a bouillon. I said, "Here, take this." And so he sat down with me, and all of a sudden we hear this big boom, big explosion out in the ocean. And about 10 minutes later, here our other platoon came running back to us. He said, "We were hit, we were hit." Here the battleship Nevada set offshore. And they were 1,000 yards short of target. And they hit our 2nd platoon. And I thought that my sergeant was in training earlier, basic training, but I saw his blood running down across his head. Here a piece of shrapnel went through his helmet. And he recovered all right. But he became one of the most decorated guys in our company later on as the war went on. Well, here what happened, this battleship Nevada was short target, hit our platoon, killed our 1st sergeant there. And that, no more than they come back, and the planes came in off the beach. There were, oh God, there must be 25 feet, it seemed like 25 feet in the air. 4 P-47 coming in and strafing us. In the foxhole, I threw Keith in, I went in on top of him. We're down there, and we got a couple of guys were buried in sand with shells. And they come in, then they started up the beach. We started throwing smoke grenades out. There was a big tank, and he's throwing a banner out. Here to hit the 22nd Regiment's ammunition dump. That exploded all night long. And here Keith, the next day, he said he pulled a 50 caliber bullet out of the sand right above his head. He said about a foot above him. I pulled it out. And I said, "Hey, look at this." And he carried it for years. And I don't know what he thought. He finally, I was with him last year, and he said finally, he don't know where he put it. He had brought it home, all the way from the beach. Well, then we moved inland. Our captain, he got killed. 2 days later, he's going on the road, and a German plane strafed him and a radio operator. And as we moved up different positions, we got to Cherbourg. I was on the gangs, and next position, it's hard to remember all of it. The next position we got to, on the way to Cherbourg, and the mortar was supposed to be fired from the back of a hill, or plenty of cover, behind a house or something. And we got this new captain. He put us on the downside of the hill. We fired 1 round. We laid there up against these hedgerows for 4 hours being shelled from the Germans. And I heard this one guy screaming and hollering. I said, somebody said. Then they come down, and another part of our unit come down and told us to get out on the road, get out on the road. We got out on the road, and here our mud hens and jeeps from another unit, our other unit, were brought down to get us out of there. So we left all our equipment there, and we went on down further. And then we set up the guns later, and then they got our equipment back down to us. Then they took me offline, they took me back for a rest. And man, I wish I would have stayed up on flight. Pouring rain, sleeping in a box on the rain, planes coming over at night, rah, 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 like a We call him Watching Machine Charlie. And he was trying to bomb us, you know, hitting different positions. So then finally, one of the sergeants come over and he said to me, he says, you want to be a lineman? I said, I'll try anything, you know. I said, okay. So he taught me how to splice wire together. So then I was a lineman. We went out and laid telephone lines. First time I went out on a broken line. I had to go find it, and I found it. Here it was running across the side of the Cherbourg Airport. Germans on one side I could see, and on the other side they were shooting back and forth, and I'm walking along trying to find this wire. It was weird, some of this stuff. Then we finally took that position, and they moved us up. Cherbourg was taken, covered off, and then they moved us into Carotene. And the road, this road was a narrow road. All these roads, I don't know, there were hedgerows. I mean, there was big lumps of dirt and then all these bushes above it. And here we come up on the road itself. There was 2 German tanks knocked out, and they were blocking the road. They were obstructing the traffic. Oh, before we moved up, we were in Carotene. To me, it was funny. Not at the time, but after. We're sitting there, and it's just getting dark. And we fired some rounds of, shells, mortar shells off, and then I look up and I see this flash way off. Oh, what the heck is this? All of a sudden, boom, shell comes in. So we fired some more. Boom, I say it again. I said to the lieutenant, I said, there's a gunner, a tank up there shooting at us. I said, every time we fire, I could see his flash. He come over and we fired a couple more shells off, and all of a sudden there was a flash. So every time we saw a flash, we'd holler. Down we go. And at that same position, there was a road run up along the field. And in the field was a horse killed, his colt, a cow, calf, and a mule, all laying out in the middle of the field. And they were starting to blow up. But then I went over this road alongside the field, and I looked down. I bet there was 100 to 150 German dead, laying in that ditch. Just, laying there. Then we moved up on the other side, and I got to. These tanks were on the road, so they made a bypass. I went in the bypass, and laid the telephone line up on so it wouldn't get ripped out up on the edge road. 83rd Division was coming down out of the field to our left. The minesweepers were in the field to the right from the 4th Division, trying to sweep mines, and the grave registration was there picking up bodies. So they start shouting, the Germans shouting me, and we got dead. I said, heck with this, I went back on the bypass, way down in the foxhole. Right. So I said, they got to come back this way. There's no way they're going to get back past me. When they come back. I fell asleep. I don't know how long I slept. I slept a while. And nobody's coming on the bypass. What the heck's going on? So I walked back out on the road. And then I left my pole I was using, I left it there. My pole's gone. And I looked back the other way, and here the tanks were being pushed out of the way. They set a bulldozer up and pushed them out of the way. So that's where everybody went. I walked down the road. Man, I got down there, back door Avery, and the cook, he starts screaming at me and hollering at me. I said, what's the matter? He says, Atkinson's looking all over for you. He thinks you're dead. He was my sergeant. He thinks you're dead. Oh, that other scream I told you about earlier, that was my sergeant. He got hit in the shoulder. Sergeant Smart. He got a piece of shrapnel across his shoulder. He said that was the only wound on him. He ran on the road and died of a heart attack. He was the one we heard screaming. And yet he was a regular. He spent 4 years down in Panama before they brought him up for our training. They were our station cadre. They were the ones who trained us. And so from there we moved up to St. Lo, and we're there for the bombing. I never thought I'd see it. 3,000 planes coming over dropping bombs. And it just sounded like somebody turned an air spigot on. You can hear the shh, it getting louder and louder. and all of a sudden one bomb and another bomb and another one. And actually you're laying in a foxhole and you swear you're jumping 3 feet in the air. I mean from the ground vibrating. And I don't know how many waves come across that way. And I wound up with earaches. So from there they evacuated me to the hospital. I stayed 3 days in a hospital. And then they put me in the replacement depot. My outfit was, I mean, they were moving. That's when they hit that Falaise Gap and all, going through, you know, in France when they caught the Germans. I don't know how many troops they caught. They encircled them, knocked the whole, I guess an army, at least an army out. And I was in the hospital and moved up. And I got up near Paris. I went AWOL over the hill, went into Paris, had a ball, come back. Next day they took, going way back. Here it was Francis Street. They celebrate the Bastille Day. They were all celebrating. And we got a loaf of bread. This loaf of bread must have been 2 feet long and about 2 inches in diameter. We sit on our helmets on the curb, sitting there eating this bread. And this guy across the street, he's going like this. He had like a storefront was all thrown down. So we said, go see what he wants. So we went over to him and he talking French, and we're between his French and our English, we're getting a little bit out of him what he's talking about. Here he took us up, introduced us to a life. He gives us food, gives us some drink, and here their daughter they had sent to southern France for the the war. And here the town where she was liberated that day. Plus it was Bastille Day. And so I had these big pockets. And I was a pack rat. I carried everything in the pockets. Here I had coffee, sugar, so I give her those little packs of coffee. Man, she was so happy. So then we left there, we were feeling pretty good. Got back to camp. They moved us out again. They put us on a truck. And they moved us the other side of Paris. We're moving all night, no food, no supper, no lunch either. So then they said breakfast, we'd have to wait 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We got there like 6 o'clock in the morning. Threw my musketeer away, grabbed a whole bunch of clothes and took off over the hill. I spent 2 weeks AWOL in Paris. I finally run out of everything. Went up to the Arc de Triomphe. And they had a circle of a truck, just picking up stragglers. I said, I walked up to the guys, I'm lost. Where you from? There's a 4th replacement depot. Like, oh, you're lost, you're AWOL. Sergeant, get a gun on him. They put a rifle, they're gonna shoot me. They put me on the truck and took me to Stockade. Then they moved us from there way up to Belgium. We'd up there in the field. It was 2 fields with the woods. And it was 3 of us. They made us cut trails through it. And it was getting cold. And they made us sleep there. All we had was a cardboard box. Nothing else. Only clothes on our back. And it was cold because we were all laying together trying to keep warm. I stayed there about 2 or 3 days. Then I finally my Alpha came picked me up. And took me back up. Went up online and went with the A company. I was in D company before my training and all. They put me in A company. And they took me to gun position, and when they got me up there, they made a switchboard operator. 12-drop switchboard that could work. Telephone lines. They'd bring the lines in and go up, and then we'd talk for communication. Here we were on the other side of the mountain of Aachen, Germany. The first city hit in Germany. We were on one side, Aachen was on the other side. And we were throwing shells over at them in different positions, different homes, hitting them. I could hear the forward observers telling how to correct weather after. And I think we were with the 1st Division then. Because we didn't stay with the division too long. As they would get relieved online, we would go with the relieving unit because we were only a support unit. So whoever was up online, we would be going up with them. So he's out there, and these trolley cars were out there on this road. Whole big line of old trolley cars. I don't know if they're old or not, but they look, again. Here they took one, they loaded it all up with kind of dynamite, all kinds of explosives. They towed it up the hill with a truck, and they turned it down. Here, the Germans had a barricade. They run that trolley car into that barricade, woo, blew it all apart. And from there we moved all over. I mean, you know, just different units. And then moved. We crossed the Ruhr River. We were on the way to the Rhine River when Germany attacked it, the Battle of the Bulge. So we were on the north end. We're under General Hodges. We were with the First Army. I forget, we were different units. I've got a card here. And on the card, it's got all the names of the out units that we had supported over the time. And it was 28 different divisions we had supported. And then, then the Germans hit. Well, from where we were, the night, somebody had these big spotlights on, and we could see paratroopers coming down. Actually see them coming down. But they were too far away to, you know, you could see them coming down. They were the ones, German paratroopers coming in. And they disrupted everything. We stayed in the town of, we were moved to the town of Marsh with the 9th Division. We stayed there from Christmas Day, oh, that's another day, Christmas Day. We were at a farmhouse somewhere in Germany, Belgium, I guess. And gave us Christmas dinner. No, Thanksgiving, yeah, Christmas dinner, Christmas. They give us Christmas dinner. So they said, what? We gotta move out. Move up on line. I jumped in the back of a Jeep. It was my sergeant's Jeep. And he hands me a canteen cup. You know, you've seen these canteen cups. He said, whatever you do, don't spill it. I said, okay. So we're going down the road, I'm bouncing all over in the Jeep, and I said, keep from spilling it, I'm going to start drinking it. Whew, boy, was that stuff powerful. Pure alcohol mixed with lemon juice. And I drank about half of it. You know, we got to the position, and he started, I love laughing. He said, what happened to you? I said, well, you told me not to spill it, so I drank. Here was alcohol. Boy, did I get loaded. That was Christmas. So we stayed there from Christmas to New Year's. One of the times the telephone lines went out. I went down the road to find out where they were knocked out at. And I was whole, like the end going into the farm area. And I was there and I found the wires broke. There was some, like a house laying down. All the bricks and all laying there of stones. So I fixed the wire up, and all of a sudden I heard this click-click-click, click-click-click. I said, where the heck's he coming from? It's a tank, right? I spotted him. I saw him. German tank. He was coming down the road toward me. What am I going to do? I hid behind a brick. He fired one shot, and then he backed off. I said, oh, thank God. He fired in the town of Marsh where we were. He hit a house that was off. Another, we was in here. And we were in the building we were in. It was a baker shop. Right? And we're in there one of the days, I don't know which day it was, the phone rang in this baker shop in France. So one of the guys answered it, and he's talking to somebody on the other end. He's trying to decipher who they're talking to. Here they were Germans, talking back and forth on the telephone. We were there for a week, New Year's night. We moved out, and they moved us all night long. We're driving. I didn't drive. And we got to the next position. They gave us we were supporting, I think, we couldn't, I forgot what the division it was. And they were supporting the tank division. The 3rd Armor. 2nd and 3rd Armor was a Pierce head from the north, going south. We wound up supporting the Armored Division with our mortars. Our mortars, they could fire 5,500 yards extreme, but they could lay it down a barrage of shells, 40 shells a minute. That's how fast they could. They weighed 25 pounds apiece, right? with 7 pounds of TNT, and we had a lot of white phosphorus. I don't know if you know what white phosphorus is. It's a chemical mixes with the air. It burns. And a big white smoke gets off. It'll burn through anything practically. Because we were basic training, one of the guys picked a piece up on the impact area and burned a hole in his hand. So the sergeant at the time, he grabbed the helmet and poured water in it, put his hand underwater, and then he went in there and he had to pick it out of it. Or they burned really good. So we burned a lot of Germans up. And then we finally cut. I don't know, we went about, I guess about a week there fighting. And then they pulled us out, and they said we're going to rest area. We went into Liège, Belgium, and we stayed there. We were supposed to stay a week. We stayed exactly 2 days. Move out, we're going back up on line. Here we were going right back up with the Germans that came through the Ardennes. We were going back up through that, straighten lines back up again. And it's hard to get away. You can extreme, pine trees, they must have been 50, 75 feet high. And the only thing through there was not roads, fire trails, where they'd cut trails through it, and that's what you use for roads. And this was in February, January. It's cold. We went up through there, and they said that we'd just broken out again onto the Dragon Teeth, the Siegfried Line, Germans, all their underground stuff. And we were sitting in a bulkhead, small bunker. There was 4 of us in there, and we had a potbelly stove to keep warm. The Germans had built these, so we were in there, and Sergeant, the fire went out. Sergeant says, "Pour gas on it, pour gas on it." Huh? Stupid me, I pick a 5-gallon can of gas, I pour it in the stove. All of a sudden, boom, blows up, right? And we're going for the door. And I looked down, and all I could see was flames coming off my hands. And my head was burning a little bit. And I looked down, and I was completely on fire. And it was a creek. The creek must have been 1.5 feet, 2 feet wide, right? And about 1.5 feet, 2 feet deep. And I dove in with my hands. The sergeant got back and grabbed my feet, and he twisted me. And he tried to drown me. But he put the fire out with the water. So they get me back up to the command post. And the cook, he comes on out with a pound of butter. He gives me a pound of butter rub on my hands. And the medic come out, and he says, "Yeah, you shouldn't use that." He gives a burn ointment. And I'm rubbing my hands, rubbing this stuff in. They throw me in the Jeep. I'm soaking wet. I'm wet. But I had heavy clothes on. I had heavy underwear on. And we had chemical treated clothes, which was very good in the cold weather, because the cold couldn't penetrate. That's what I had on. So he took me by Jeep back to an aid station. Got in the aid station there, it's getting dark. And he took all my clothes off me, but a shirt and my socks. That's the only thing I had on. Everything else was wet. And they gave me a morphine shot. And that did relieve the pain, because the pain really started to get bad then. And they bandaged me up the best they could, put gauze on it. And one guy came in and he's holding his thumb in there and said, "What's the matter with you?" He said, "My butt's hurt, my butt." His thumb was shot off. They said, "Where's your gun?" And it was dark, and one of the guys went out and got his gun. There on his gun, where his thumb was, he got hit. Shot his thumb off, but there was 3 more shells above it that hit his rifle that would have got him. This guy, he said, this red-headed guy jumped up on me, red-headed German, with a burp gun. And he hit him 4 times. And once he shot him with his thumb, but the others were hit into the side of his rifle, which saved him then. Well, then they took me out there, put me in the back of a truck, a whole bunch of it, I don't know how many was in there. And they moved us to the general field hospital. And they had operating rooms, so they were working on all these guys in there. And I don't know what me doing this. I looked over next to me, and all I could see is this guy next to me, and he was nothing but raw flesh. And they were working on him, trying to fix him up. Well, they put me in a ward there. The nurse came around every 4 hours and stuck a needle in your arm. Here they were giving penicillin shots. And she'd start one in, and she'd go, oh, I must have been 100 beds in there. It was in an old school building, and she'd give morphine. And then by the time she got done, she'd start all over again, penicillin. For infection, which at the time they thought was good. But later on, they found out some guys got reactions from it. You know, so, okay. From there, they put me on an ambulance. They took me into Liège, Belgium. And I don't know if we stayed there overnight or what. The hospital was in the hallway. And he took me out of there on the ambulance and took me to the railway station. He put me on the train, right? Train took us back to Paris. And we got in the hospital in Paris. Paris, they give us uniforms. They put us on a double-decker bus. Nobody could talk French. And the driver, he couldn't speak English. So he's taking us to the Orly Airport in Paris, right? So he finally gets there, but instead of going in the main gate, he came in the back gate. And he's riding across the landing strips. We almost got killed with planes coming down, right? We finally got out of there, and man, we were sweating. So we laid there. We were supposed to go off the next day by plane, and here we stayed there for 4 days. Here they had a big push, and I think it was that bridge too far they made the movie about. At the time, they needed all the planes they got to ship them supplies, so we were grounded there. And finally, 4 days, they put us on a plane. First time and last time I ever flew. I'm anxious to fly again, but well, we took off and looked around, and you're sitting sideways. You know, you're facing each other, like a pirate. You see the movie, the parachute, but you can look out the window. And I looked out the window, and there's the Eiffel Tower. I couldn't believe. I stood at the bottom of that when I was in Paris, but you can't imagine how high it is until you fly around. Houses look like they're 1 or 2 inches high. Around even the big buildings, you know, they look small, but this thing's gigantic, sticking up right in the middle of it. They circled it. And Paris is filled in the circles. All the streets run in circles. And it's crazy until you really get to know it. And then they flew me back to England. As we were getting to the English Channel, they let us go up and stand behind the pilot. I got up there and I stood behind the pilot, the co-pilot. And we left France. The water is like muddy along the edge, and then they got the real blue. And the pilot says, "There it is." I looked up, and there was the White Cliffs of Dover coming at me in England. And then we landed outside of London. Took me up to somewhere near Wales. I stayed in the hospital with my aunt's bad, healed. Broke my glasses. I had to wait 2 more weeks for getting new glasses. Then from there, they took me to Birmingham. Birmingham, they put us on another troop ship. No bunks. We had hammocks. I don't know if it was a British or French or what. They took us across the channel. And we got to Lahore, where they docked at. They put us on a train. The 40 and 8s, they were. Boxcars. We traveled with. Either 8 mules or 40 men in a boxcar. That's what they call them, 40 and 8s. And here we heard later that ship we came over on was going back and it got sunk. The Germans sunk it some way in the English Channel. Then we'll go all the way up and cut to the Rhine River. And took us off the train, they put us on trucks. And I got up to the outfit and we got to the Elbe River, getting ready to go into Berlin. And well, they pulled us offline because we were done. They took us to a town, Nuremberg. It's spelled the same way where they held the trials, but it's not Nuremberg. There was another town, I don't know, about 40, 50 miles from Berlin. And we stayed there. We had charge of a prison camp. He asked me, who, Bob? Sergeant comes down. He said, I need a volunteer. I said, what for? He said, you work the officer's mess. You're in. Oh, great God. But what I had to do, when the officer, we had this house set up. All the officers came and sat. Their meals, well, we had to serve them. So bring the food up and downstairs and serve it out to them. Well, you know, I didn't mind it. I liked it. I spent my 19th birthday there. No, my 20th. 19, I was 19 in May, 28. I landed on the beach June 6th. I was 20. I wanted the lieutenants and come up there. I said, you know where a guy can get something to celebrate his birthday? Oh yeah, stop over the house. These houses, these German houses were loaded. All kinds of drinks, you know, most of it wine. So he gives me, I wound up with five bottles of champagne and 7 bottles of wine. Go up in the woods, start drinking. I don't know how I got back. They didn't take me to the bar where I slept. He took me to the kitchen. We had a cot there. And I sprawled out in that cot. So he figured, well, I've got to go to work the next morning and feed the officer. I got up the next morning. I was scorched. I couldn't swallow. I couldn't get spit in my mouth. I was so dried out. Took a drink of water and I was cockeyed drunk all over again. That went on for 2 days. That was my 20th birthday. What do you guys, you never heard this, did you? Huh?
Never
So then,
heard this one.
let's see. Well, there, and then we started back. We traveled to France, and they turned everything in Camp Lucky Strike. We turned all our equipment in, and they took us by train to Le Havre, put us on a ship in Le Havre, took us across the Channel to England, put us on a train in England, took us all the way up to Scotland, put us on a troop ship to come home. Next, second best troop ship in the world, the Queen Mary. They put us on the Queen Mary, and we were 4 days sleeping on decks. We didn't care. Get on. Well, we got to New York about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and whistles are blowing, banging all around the place. And all of a sudden I looked up. Whew, it just gets me every time. There was the Statue of Liberty under lights. When my niece had an interview, I just can't help it. So then, from there, they took us to Camp Kilmore, give us khakis. Camp Kilmore, Indian Town Gap. Indian Town Gap, we got to leave, come home. And we had to go back up, and then they took us down to Fort Benning, Georgia. And we didn't have enough points to get out. So that was in October. So I was home for the whole month of October. I went back down. I had to be there the 1st of November to Fort Benning, and the 4th of November, 1945, I was discharged. I had 65 points. That was it. And my buddy, the one I told you about, we were always together.
One from Erie?
Huh?
One from Erie?
Yeah. Keith Osteen, his name is. Here we were in Benning, and we didn't want to, we always separate each other, you know? And so we took the bus from Georgia to Washington. So we would be together longer. We rode all the way up on a bus. What an experience that was. And then he got a train. I wanted him to come home with me, and he wanted me to go home with him. We split. He went home by train to Erie. I went up to Philly. Yeah. Here, I got home. Nobody was there. Nobody was at our house. My aunt lived 2 doors away. She was out. My uncle was out. But the lady next door was home, Mrs. Glass. So I go knocking on the door, you know, and she said, what? What? Oh, her or one of my aunts come back, and my parents were up here from Philadelphia. They were up here in Ardsley. They had bought the property over there. They were up here staying, you know. Well, we had a little building over there. So then called up wasn't in it, but now, you know, my father-in-law, and he came down with one of them down in a little pickup truck he had. Not a pickup, a panel truck. He brought them down in the back he had benches. Oh, you know, boy, my family. So here my uncle got a hold of me. He takes me up to his house up on Frankfurt Avenue, and they're feeding me and drinks, you know. So I said, I got to get out of here. So I went walking around the neighborhood, and the neighbors coming out, and congratulating me and shaking hands. And then my parents finally got there, and they brought me over. We stayed overnight here. And the next morning, my father hired a cab to take us home. And then I guess, like I said, it was an experience. I don't know, but you know, then you didn't care as much. So.
First jet airplane?
Oh yeah, I like this. We were somewhere still in Normandy. In this town we were moving up, and all of a sudden we heard this noise. I mean, it was unforgettable. And I said, God, what was that? Somebody said it was a plane. It was a plane. Not going that fast, making that much noise. Here was a German jet, first German jet. Came flying over town we were in. I saw dog fights. I saw, must have been 50 planes up there. And there was 4 German jets. And they were shooting at each other. We could hear all over the place. I saw one of our bombers get hit, going in. He circled around, back over the lines. They bailed out, and they let the plane go, and then they crashed in the German lines. And this experience, I mean, sometimes it got rough. And it was good times and bad times, just like I explained it. I was up through the Hurricane Forest. We were with the 1st Division then, and we were on the top of a hill. And it was Thanksgiving Day. And they were coming around giving us turkey. But they had to bring it up, and you know, the cook had to bring it up there. And it poured rain. I mean, pouring rain. You couldn't believe. You were lucky if you saw across the street. Cold, snow on the ground. First time I ever saw peat coals up there too. Coals looked like they were made into about the size of an egg. And here it was charcoal. I mean, it was coal, pressed coal. That's what we used to get. There was a big pile of it somewhere. We used to go get down and get it and throw it in the stove, keep warm. And I saw a German prisoner coming down on the back of a Jeep. We were with the 1st Division then. And here he had captain bars on his, or American captain bars on his sleeve. I don't think he lived too long after that. They brought him down through town on the back of his Jeep, showing him off. You know, something that happened. That was a rough outfit, that 1st Division. You saw movies about it. Very good kid. Oh, you all right? Can you get up without disturbing that too much?
Yep.
Give me the picture.
This one?
Yeah. The picture's loose and I haven't put it in here yet.
Do you want the one behind it too?
No, well, no, more or less. This is a picture of my medals and me when I was, I must have been 20 years old.
I'll try and zoom in.
And this is a write-up. Good Conduct Medal, ETO medal, with a bronze arrowhead, silver star, my discharge pin, shape pin, my sharpshooters, and my presidential citation. And this is it. I was 20 years old when I took this picture. Cut. Okay, you're doing that, Mary. Leave it on. Oh, I can't see it to read. I can't read upside down.
Here, I'll just back it up. I'll be on.
Better off, I guess. I can maybe read this off, and you know.
Hey, you can read off. I backed up so you can see you again.
Yeah, but I can't.
You can turn it around. You can turn it around. Yeah, because I got it.
Okay.
So.
Okay. This is one of the fellows. He was in headquarters company, and he wrote this up. He said more on bastard battalions. That's what we were classified as. 87th Chemical Mortar Battalion. it was not unusual for separate battalions of armored artillery, engineers, chemical mortar battalion troops to be constantly attached to infantry regiments as heavy weapons infantry. We served with the 1st, 7th, and 9th Armies. We also were attached to the 5th, 7th, the 9th, and the 17th Airborne, and the 21st Corps. The infantry divisions we were attached to were the 1st, the 3rd, the 4th, the 8th, the 9th, the 28th, the 30th, the 45th, the 75th, the 79th, the 83rd, the 84th, and the 104th. Airborne divisions, the 82nd and the 101st. Armored divisions, 2nd, 3rd, and 5th. Groups, the 4th Cavalry, the 1106th Engineers, and the 325th Glider Infantry. Campaigns, Normandy, D-Day landing, Northern France, the Ardennes, Battle of the Bulge, the Rhineland, and Central Europe. We have Bronze Arrowhead, 5 battle stars, ETO Presidential Citation. Fired 250,000 rounds of mortar ammunition from the battalion, from our battalion. I'm sure very few bastard battalions have as good a record. We didn't get any headlines as we were Uncle Sam's secret weapon. My name is Theodore Kalinoski. I've been on here. I was in the 87th Chemical Mortar Battalion, attached to D Company, and then later on A Company. I was discharged to A Company.